Oh, he's crazy. He's crazy. He's so crazy.
We spent some time down by the rock garden.
I know Ken Phillips, who accompanied me to Malibu Beach for almost 5 years.
We were on our way back from the rock garden when Tina pointed out that she had seen a man hit his head on the roof.
And I heard a huge crash.
Paragliding and went into the water.
And I saw a parachute, and I saw a person.
Tina told me, there's a man over there dead in the water.
He just came too low and he decided to make a left turn. He should have just turned right and landed in the sand.
He was very lifeless, and I screamed to Ken, he's dead.
Tina told me, there's a man over there dead in the water.
I was in shock, and I dropped everything, and I tried to run with Ken. Ken ran faster. He kicked off his shoes. He took everything off and dumped it in the sand, and he ran.
And find a man, in fact, who was having a hard time breathing and getting out of the water.
So I started screaming at a few patios just to see if anybody would step outside and listen to me screaming at the top of my lungs, call 911, call 911, because the battery on my cell phone had died.
I found out that he was tangled in hundreds of cords that are attached to the parachute, which were then attached to the bag. And by that time, the parachute had taken on a lot of water and had taken on a lot of sand. And so it had to be at least 1,000 pounds.
I just need to make one phone call, and I'm supposed to meet someone before 6 p.m. And so I need to race back up the mountain and get my truck.
And when I went in to try to save him, I myself found my life in peril, because then my ankle actually got corded up, and at least twice.
Threw my purse on the sand, kicked my stuff off, ran towards Ken, see if I could help Ken.
There was nobody on the beach, but we just had to fight the tangle that he was caught up in, a big tangle of the cords and of the parachute and all the weight that he had. And it was hard because in the beginning he felt kind of lifeless.
There must have been 1,000 pounds of water and sand and rocks in that parachute that kept sucking Kevin and sucking Ken back into the ocean.
He didn't have a lot of energy and a lot of life in him, and he was still kind of coming to from hitting his head on the roof on the way in.
It was very turbulent, very turbulent.
I had looked at some of the neighbors, thinking the neighbor would come out and give us a hand and help us, and no one helped. No one came to help.
He wasn't responding. He was zero.
Just from the impact on the, I guess.
He was this.
Maybe 10 minutes fighting these waves, kept trying to suck him out into the ocean while I kept trying to hold him, until I discovered that it was the cords, in fact, wrapped around of his ankle. And once I realized that, I had actually called to Tina, because you get sets of big waves and then you get sets of little waves.
I just lost altitude so quick, so fast.
Yeah, so today's Sunday. It's Halloween 2010, and right out here is where Kevin came down, hit against the roof, slight concussion, went into the water with his parachute.
I turned sideways, and that's when I saw a paraglider. So everything was like collapsed. Kevin, like this, into the water right there.
And then all that I saw was the power lines. All that I saw, it was mountains with lots of rocks.
The dog was barking at me, and I was screaming at the top of my lungs, call 911, and I kept running back and forth, call 911, call 911.
And I got really confused. I didn't know what choice to make. Go for the rocks and turn and land in the rocks and in the side of the mountain, or continue going towards the beach, which was the most safe thing except for the power lines.
Finally, a gentleman came out, and when he came out, I was like, call 911, call the paramedics, please. He was like, is somebody hurt?
And I passed the power lines. I was so low. Once I passed the power lines, the next obstacle was the houses, Malibu houses. And I hit the roof of one of the houses, and I just lost complete control, because once I hit the roof, I don't remember anything.
You know, I'm just trying to remember everything, because now that I'm here, I can hear all the sounds and I can remember everything.
And I'm screaming, help, help, help. And this couple, they're just walking on the beach. And you know, they didn't have to do that. They're rich, they live in Malibu, a house right there in front of where I crashed. I'm thinking, my God, how fucking long would it take for you to come here and give me your hand?
Kevin was sick because he'd swallowed so much water.
But the waves were so strong, they would break on top of us and drag me, him, and his wife back. And she's crying, she's screaming for the neighbors to call 911. So the ocean would take me in, and I would breathe and come back out every time the wave broke.
I was trying to get to the man that lives in this house to call 911.
And just like he said, it's Malibu, nobody cared for. The paramedics had such a hard time to convince the guy to open his gate so they could get to me. She managed to get the lines out of my foot, and I just lay there on the sand, and the wave would come. I just like, I'm breathing. And paramedics came and took me to the hospital, and then before I went, I hugged this woman, and I cried so much. Her name is Tina, and the husband is Ken. I never experienced being so close, dying like yesterday. Oh, my whole life, like, I thought of the friends I'll never see again and the family.
Unfortunately, right up on the road is some beautiful firemen at the Carbon Canyon Firemen Station. It's right across the street from here, the Pacific Coast Highway, and then the firemen are right across the street. And they actually called up some of the Baywatch lifeguards, and 2 of the lifeguards came down in here.
I don't know where Claude was, but he kept telling me, Claude just landed, he should be here any minute, all that stuff. And I said, okay, I'll wait here for Claude to show up, the instructor.
This one was blowing up there, the perfect takeoff. It could have been like a perfect flight. I just happened to choose like a canyon that there was a vacuum area, and I lost a lot of oxygen. And then I saw these guys flying through the other canyon, and they were so high up. I said, why? What's wrong with my paraglider? Because those guys are so high up, and it's tandem. It's my instructor plus this guy, 2 in 1 paraglider. And they were way up, high up there, and I was in the sand looking, and they said, do you know those people? I said, yeah, that's my instructor and this Italian guy, this producer from Italy.
It's about 3 houses down is where the accident happened.
My friends who live on the beach were very helpful to Luca and Claude to make sure that Kevin's equipment.
He was being dragged in the water, now with me. Now 2 of us needing help.
My first rescue, yeah, my first rescue in life. It kind of feels similar to someone going into battle under gunfire and saving another soldier that had maybe got shot in the leg and couldn't carry himself back. It was my duty. There was no one else on the beach, and with the faith of the living God, I came in to help him.
I told her, I said, you know what? Thanks to you, I'm here, and you and Ken and you guys are amazing, because you put your life at risk to save a stranger.
I'm very appreciative that I could in any way help him survive that really difficult experience. Very, very happy.
I'll fly again because I love it. It's like my passion. Is the sport that I discovered, that I identify myself. I love it. I can't explain. It's just a feeling, like I feel like an eagle. I feel like you know, I'm soaring in the skies with this amazing thing that they create. And my new birthday now is October 28th, Wednesday.
He's doing really good today.
I found those people in America, and in Malibu, one of the richest places in America.
Celebration of life.
Life changed. Like, there's so many things went through my mind, so many things that I have not taken care of yet. You know, to leave everything like organized so people can continue doing what I'm doing. It was like amazing. I would not be here right now if it wasn't for this couple. So they'll be like part of my life from now on. I had my wake-up call, and that was it. That was my wake-up call. That's it. Ciao. Everyone was born. And I went flying again.